Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Mail. So for today, I'm going to do a pretty entertaining email that was sent from a subscriber. This one guy sounds like he's in his late 40s. He's been married twice and divorced twice. He's written in a couple of times sharing his stories about all that. It's been a big help to him with the community, helping him get through those tough times. And he's writing in today to share about adventures he had with gals when he was obviously no longer married, who tried to baby trap him. You see, our guy here, he got a vasectomy many years ago, and thank the Lord for that, because when different gals tried to baby trap him, well, didn't go too well for them, and let me tell you, the meltdowns were colossal, as well as a short story about women and losing their minds when guys display perceived weakness. So this whole video here is about 3 short stories are really freaking good here, in particular the best ones about the whole gals trying to baby trap him. And mark my words, guys, if you are a guy that you're not interested in marriage, you just like dating and hooking up and all that, at some point you may run across a gal that is going to tell you, surprise, I'm pregnant. And obviously, if you have a vasectomy, you obviously are going to stop her right then and there, potentially. But of course, I'm not telling you to go out and do it if you don't want to. That's a big decision. But anyhow, you'll definitely be prepared for those type of things eventually, because it's going to happen if that's what you do and live that lifestyle. So he starts off, says here, first things first, the obligatory butt kissing. SSM, I swear, writing you my 2 stories about the lowest points of my life was better than effing therapy. I spent roughly $3,000 to $4,000 on therapists throughout the years to try and get over this crap. And writing to some strange guy who sits in his car and reads stories was better than any therapist I ever saw. Well, man, I'm glad it helped. And I think also just having guys comment on it and share their opinions and experiences, that helped you too. And I've been told by so many guys that they find it therapeutic just to write their stories out. So I'm glad we could help. Now you can read the entire email in its entirety. Chop it up or just laugh, your choice. I figured I would share some of the funnier stories and lessons from my life that do not involve me being a complete moron. First, a little update on my life. I'm currently seeing a wonderful woman who is a single mom of 4 kids with 5 baby daddies, who is living with 2 of them, and I'm set to move in and be the 4th. I think I just heard a very loud "what the F" coming from the direction of Florida. No, I am very happy being single, and currently the only permanent gal in my life is my pit mix. The picture's enclosed for your enjoyment. Told you the guy's a sense of humor and he's funny. And by the way, he sent a picture of his dog. You got a beautiful dog, man. It's awesome. Well, this first story took place right after I got through my first divorce. This has to deal with a woman attempting to baby trap me, which is really funny. I had a vasectomy when I was 26 years old, and the first one took place of this girl trying to baby trap me when I was 28 or 29 years old. So me and this chick, whose name is completely unimportant, so we can just call her Chick, we've been hooking up for about 6 months. There is no talk about being exclusive, no talk of monogamy. She is dating other people. I'm very well aware of it. I am also dating other people, and she is very well aware of it. The only time that we ever talked about this was after midnight, and it's usually figuring out whose house we're going to hook up in. Well, one night after we're done hooking up, she kind of nuzzled into my arms and said, "I have something to tell you." I said to her, "Okay," and she goes, "I'm pregnant." I go, "Okay, who's the father?" Her response was, "I hope it's you." I said to her, "I wouldn't get your hopes up. I had a vasectomy. However, I'm willing to do a paternity test when it's born, and if it's mine, I'll do the right thing." That's not what she was expecting. She goes, "Okay," and then she ghosts me. I never heard from her again. I really hope whichever one of the other guys she blamed the baby on got a paternity test too, because I can guarantee you the guy who's raising that kid is not the father. I can also guarantee you the baby is not mine. Right there. All that time. Why'd she just assume it was you? Probably because you were, to her, the best prospect to help her raise the kid. Probably had the best income, most reliable, that type of thing. Right there. Because if you didn't have the vasectomy, it could have been quite the hassle. A lot of time, a lot of stress figuring out that's your kid or not. So that's one. He says, "Oh, how I wish all the baby trapping stories were like that one." The next one took place when I was in my late 30s and after my second divorce. And yes, SSM, I've been married twice and there will not be a third. Yeah, well, smack. Goodness sake, bonehead. or as Biff Tannen would say, butthead. 2 marriages, 2 divorces, you are banned from ever getting married again, man. Well, the second time that I had a woman try to baby trap me, this was a hookup that morphed into a friends with benefits. We had several things in common, including a love for weird exotic food. So she was typically the girl that I would call whenever a new restaurant opened up and I needed somebody to go with. Now, don't get fooled. I'm perfectly capable and actually enjoy going out eating by myself. It's actually kind of nice to go out and have a beer, have a nice meal, and just sit quiet at the restaurant and not have to worry about entertaining anybody. But for those nice times when you actually want company, she fits the bill nicely. Well, you're about to see she's not exactly too nice. So I was rather busy at work one day, and it had been about 2 weeks since she and I had been able to get together and do anything, when I got this random text saying, "I'm late, we need to talk." Here we go again, 10 years after the other incident. He says, who the F gives somebody that type of news via text? Well, someone like her. I have my questions about the validity of the human race as a whole based on my sampling of the 20 and 30-somethings nowadays. So at this point, I was in my late 30s and had started actually seeing doctors regularly for things like annual checkups and things like that. And one of the things I always did along with blood work and an STD panel was a sperm count, and I had just come from my annual physical when she dropped the news on me. So I had to meet her in a very public place, some hipster coffee bar where they serve oat milk, vanilla, cappuccino, latte things, and I went there with my paperwork. Oh, so you brought... I'm curious what made you think I better bring the actual folder with the paperwork because this probably is not going to go too well. Well, let's see how she responds. What ensued was literally straight out of what you would call the hoe bag handbook, and pretty much cemented the R-pill suppository that I'd taken a few years earlier. This is the conversation, to the best of my recollection. It's been almost 10 years, so it may not be exact. Now listen to this breakdown. She says to him, "So, what do we do?" He says, "Talk to the father." She says, "That's you. You're the only one I slept with." This is the friends with benefits? Really? You don't think she expects you to believe you're the only one? He says to her through laughing, "Please, how stupid do you think I am? I know you're effing somebody else, and I'd like to know why I'm being blamed for this." He says, "Cue to the tears." She says, "I swear to God, you're the only guy I'm sleeping with, and I swear you're the father." Now at this point, she hadn't gone on full Tusken Raider, but close. I hand her my paperwork, with sperm count 0 highlighted. I say to her, "Care to explain how I'm the father?" Oh, this should be good. He says, "Guess what happened next? You will never ever guess what happened." The tears immediately dried up, and her eyes were burning with rage. Eyes burning with rage? Shouldn't you be the guy, the one with the eyes burning with rage, with her obviously trying to trap you like this? She hissed at me, saying, "You're infertile." I said to her, "Yes, I had a vasectomy 13 years ago, so no clue who the father is, but it ain't me." He says, "SSM, if looks could kill, I would have been dead instantly." I saw her look around, and seriously, I thought she was going to flip the table. She growled, "It's yours. I haven't slept with anyone else." I said to her, "Listen, I'm not going to argue about this. Let me know when it's born. I'll do a paternity test, and when it comes out I'm not the father, I'll never have to see you again." Holy crap, man, that's twice. It's not how she expected things to go. Well, we're not done yet. Remember, guys, the saying, "Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned." Well, after I left, she was sputtering some nonsensical woman bullshit, and everybody was staring. I blocked her and everything, I thought, as this would come back in a minute. Well, soon the Facebook smear campaign began. I didn't hear about this for about 5 months because I had quit Facebook during my second divorce, and I discovered I was much happier without it. So by not realizing how big of a deal Facebook was to people, my ignoring her attempts to smear me made the online meltdown even more epic. I logged in one day because my buddy at work asked if I knew if Jessica Smallboob, and I said, "Yeah, we used to hook up. Why?" Well, he showed me her Facebook page. What I saw actually got me to log in on my own phone, and the meltdown was epic. Between public posts and PMs, she would alternate between hating me, loving me, missing me, and wanting me to pay child support. Pay child support? You showed her the fucking paperwork, unless she convinced herself that that was all fake and falsified. The last one was actually pretty constant. Apparently, me ghosting her did a number on her and her psyche. I logged out and I never heard from her again. Until a year later, when I got a court order for child support. Holy freaking crap. Again, you showed her the paperwork. Nope, she's not backing down. Holy crap, dude. And by the way, I want to mention how she was losing her mind. Remember I told you guys about women and rejection? How they lose... Nobody likes rejection, right? Of course. But women take it to a whole new level, especially the good-looking ones. Well, I got a lawyer, lesson learned on that one, and requested a paternity test. The judge actually laughed when she said, a mother's word is better than a test. Sure, Your Honor. Well, I did the test, and guess what? I'm not the father. Imagine that. The look on her face was priceless. Then I ghosted her and moved across the country. Oh my God, man. All that. Well, here's something here. She's been dragging your name through the mud on Facebook, publicly making you look bad for all that time. She freaking sues you for freaking child support. You had to spend money on a lawyer. You had to spend your time, all that. I mean, that cost you something. I would freaking sue her ass back for defamation, for dragging your name through the mud. At least get your money back. I mean, you had the paperwork there, if you could. And again, who cares if she's a broke single mom? Well, the next story, SSM about showing weakness. Okay, we're done the paternity test. Now we're going to deal with, as a quick refresh, guys, I've said this countless times, women are disgusted by men that show weakness. Now, or shall I say, perceived weakness. So this is why you don't make your girlfriend or your wife your mommy, your therapist, who you go to. And that's why the narrative of you can cry in front of your girl and you can pour out your feelings and insecurities and fears and all that. That narrative is a bunch of bull crap. Because anytime you show weakness, it's going to blow up in your face. But here's the interesting thing. A lot of women will say they want their guy to be able to open up to them. And they'll even prod him along to do that. And the funny thing is, or the effed up part is, a guy will do that. You know, because it's a lot for us to carry things inside, a lot of things we're responsible for. And when guys do that, they usually lose attraction for them. You can usually tell by their body language. And some get hostile. I just covered a 2-part story on my other channel, Hit the Bricks, about that. Some of you guys saw it, know what I'm talking about here. Well, anyhow, this is about weakness. There, I had to mention that weakness shit. He says, okay, so this next part happened with my last long-term girlfriend. This is going to shock you, but I'm at my heart a relationship guy. Yeah, I can tell you're a relationship guy. You've been married twice, divorced twice. Don't ever fucking get married again, dude. So this happened with my COVID girlfriend. We were together for about 2.5 years. We broke up about 6 months before my son passed away. Dude, I'm sorry about your son. It wasn't for cheating or anything bad. We were just in different spots. Her, through good planning and saving, had reached the point in her late 30s that she could slow down and not work like a dog. Wow, that's impressive. That's rare. Good for her. Me, on the other hand, through some shitty life choices and not saving, was basically starting over at 43 years old. Well, the 2 divorces probably cleaned you out. I was having to work 6 to 7 days a week just to stay afloat. We made time for each other, but she wanted more. Shocker. I was not in a place to give her more, and that was not feasible. So we broke up. Well, this is where the lessons you teach came into place and came into practice. I guess she needs a name. We will call her Tammy. I don't like the name Tammy. That's like a kind of like a stripper name or white trash name. That with Crystal or something like that. Or attach Lynn to the name. I know that sounds like the movie Ted, but it really is the truth. Any girl I've ever known that has Lynn attached to her name, like Kate Lynn or Tammy Lynn or whatever, run away. So this is where the lessons you teach came into place, blah, blah, blah. Well, one day I got a flat tire. I limped my car to the repair shop. Yes, I know SSM how to change a tire, but modern cars don't come with spares anymore. What the fuck? That was an unhappy surprise. Yeah, I learned that last spring when I bought my Mustang. Like, where the fuck's the spare tire? The dealer's like, oh, it doesn't come with it. I'm like, well, to buy this car at this price, I want a spare tire. He gave me the spare tire. So I called Tammy and have her meet me at the shop to pick me up. They couldn't fix me right then and there, and I had to wait until the morning. So I have her pick me up, and she is pissy, starting arguments and being petty. It takes me most of the ride home to figure out the issue. Because I needed her to pick me up and to take me back to my car, I showed weakness by asking her for help. And she was being a brat about it. She was being something with a B, and it wasn't brat, it was the other thing. Yeah, what the fuck? Guess what? In life, people can get a flat. But because you couldn't figure it all out yourself and you weren't willing to walk home, she's pissy about that. It could be her interpretation of weakness or just she's pissed off because you interrupted her watching the Kardashians. I don't know. I left her alone for the evening and decided she was like this in the morning, we would have a talk. I would have checked her right then and there. This bitchiness is unacceptable. Well, when we get up in the morning, huge surprise, she was even in a worse mood in the morning. At this point, I had enough and basically said, look, I didn't do this on purpose. I didn't plan to inconvenience you. This is even more annoying to me. I had to cancel 3 appointments this morning to fix this idiocy. Now get over yourself. Good for you. Put her in her place. She's being an asshole. Well, she paused, went to the bathroom, and when she came out, she jumped me. Closest I've ever gotten to an apology. We had makeup sex, and then she gave me a ride to pick up my car, needing a new tire due to the damage from driving on it. Right there. You put her in her place, and it turned her on. Next thing you know, she's effing your brains out. Guys, women are a giant pain in the ass. I think we've all learned that. But they want strength, masculinity. And you don't put up with their crap. Because nice guys and simps put up with crap. Guys that respect themselves, or bad boys, they put them in their place because they don't give a shit if they get mad. And they fuck the bad boys. So, your putting in her place was a little late, but glad you did eventually. Look at the results. The lesson, SSM, even the smallest sign of weakness, no matter how stupid it may seem, can cause some friction with your girl. Now, the only thing I'd change is I would have checked her immediately when I noticed her being a bitch, not the next morning like I did. You learn from it, and you got laid the next morning. SSM, thank you and the community for helping me through probably the toughest time in my life. Like I said at the beginning of the story, this is better than therapy. If you want my RP journey, just let me know. It was not linear, and my BP side, blue pill side, died a very slow death. Oh, bro, those are some really good stories. Very entertaining. And I'm definitely glad, because obviously you didn't want any children. You got the vasectomy, and that made things... Well, that's the thing. The first story made it easy. The second one, that chick wouldn't back down. And imagine if you didn't have the vasectomy, what she'd put you through. Holy crap. And as for the third story, the weakness thing... Don't ever show weakness, but also remember this, guys. Women can just be bitches and test guys' strength, and they like to be put in their place, and look at the results there. So, yeah, man, if you got more stories to share, I definitely want to hear them. So, guys, in the comment section, if you want to hear more of his stories, you like this guy's sense of humor, let him know. And he'll write one or multiple ones in, and I'll definitely share them. So good luck to you, man. I appreciate the stories, and again, take care of that dog. That's a beautiful dog you got there. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.